Welcome back to Rails Minute, where you can find out more about what is happening with the library system. Hi everyone, I'm Dan Bostrom, Rails Director of Marketing and Communications, and I'm here with Rails Executive Director, Monica Harris.
Hi Dan.
Hi Monica, good to see you again.
Good to see you.
So since we last spoke, we've officially launched the School Library Advocacy through Education Data Dashboard, otherwise known as the SLATE dashboard. So what kind of feedback have we gotten?
So the SLATE dashboard has been a long time coming, so it's really exciting to see it out there with the populated data. So for anybody that is not familiar with it, it does feature data of school libraries, both public and non-public, featuring data from the 2022-2023 school year. It also includes data that includes things like the library staffing levels, the collection sizes, and the finances devoted to the library. What is really great about it that we're hearing is it really gives people an opportunity to look at their district and see how it compares to other school districts around the state in terms of how they are supporting and funding their school libraries. So right now it is really at the beginning stages in terms of being available, and we're really excited to see what our members can do with this information in terms of advocating for their local school library partners. Jeanette DeRucky, who has been one of the major driving forces behind this tool, actually has a demonstration coming up on Wednesday, March 20th, beginning at 3:30 p.m., where she's going to go in detail through the tool. So anybody that has any interest in really learning more about school libraries in Illinois and how they're funded should really think about coming to this demo and really thinking about how you can use this data to support your local schools.
Yeah, it's a really powerful tool, and it's going to be really fun to see once it gets in the hands of people even outside of the library world, right, what happens with it. So yeah, thank you Jeanette DeRucky for all the work she's put into it. It's really amazing.
It is a feat, absolutely.
Okay, so another exciting resource for our members is the Social Justice in Public Libraries course from Freedom Lifted. Would you talk a little bit about that resource and how people can use it?
So Freedom Lifted is a great asynchronous learning tool that really allows people to go in and learn more about equity, diversity, and inclusion and how it relates specifically to libraries. One of the most interesting things about this tool is that it really does focus on how these issues manifest in libraries specifically. So this tool is available to any Rails member who wants the opportunity to do learning. And it's really, I think people get intimidated sometimes by these processes, and I think it's really intuitive and easy to use. A lot of the Rails staff have actually been going through the tool in an effort to increase their own learning, but also to be able to help members as they understand who this tool is for and how they can navigate through it. I have a couple of quotes from some of our Rails members that I'm just going to read because I think it gives a really good understanding of the tool. So this one is from Renya, and she says, "Freedom Lifted is the best diversity training I've done so far. It's not only very informative, but it's also engaging thanks to various media formats that are included. The instructor is clearly not only very well informed, but also passionate about the topics that she presents." And then one more from Nikki. "The material is easily digestible. The facilitator has a warm and sensitive personality. The information is broken down into logical sections that build upon each other. It's easy to complete on one's own, but group discussion adds another important and satisfying element." We are also looking for some feedback on the tool. So I know some of you out there may have already begun to use Freedom Lifted. We have a survey open right now where we're asking for your feedback about the tool, and we'd love to hear more from you if you've used it. You will find the link to that survey in the show notes for today, and we would really encourage you to check it out. If you haven't checked it out, there's still plenty of time, and so I do want to encourage you to go through the Rails website and take a look at Freedom Lifted if this has any kind of interest for you. I think libraries of all types can get something out of this.
Yeah, and this is something that we've heard from our member libraries that they want from us is more training, more library-specific training, something self-paced, and that is all of this. And so it's even in our strategic plan. So I think I'm glad that we're offering it. It sounds like it is a really, really great tool for us.
I think it really can be. So I really want to encourage our members to get involved.
Great. So finally, it seems we're in the middle of a very busy legislative season. So maybe you can help us break it down in the most manageable fashion possible.
I will do my best. So we get a lot of amazing information from the Illinois Library Association's Public Policy Committee. They are devoted to a lot of these issues, along with ILA and their lobbyist, Derek Bleda, gives us some updates about some of the major priorities that are happening. So I just want to share a few of those with you all, but I do want to encourage you, if you have any interest in legislative issues that are related to Illinois and libraries, take a look at ILA's new bill tracker. They have all of the legislation that they are following on that tool, and they update it regularly. So you can actually follow along and make sure that you are as up to date as possible on some of these. But in the meantime, we just want to give you a brief overview of some of the things that we are watching during this legislative season. So the first one is House Bill 4567. This is a bill that could potentially put library employees in a separate class for the purposes of threats and assaults. It's really related to a lot of the things that were happening in libraries over the last couple of years in response first to COVID, and then later with the bomb threat issues that happened in some Rails libraries across the state. This bill was actually sponsored by the Secretary of State, Alexi Janulius, and we are very interested to see how this moves forward. It would potentially amend the criminal code. We have had some questions from members about whether or not this is for all libraries. This one specifically is focused on public libraries because many of our academic and school libraries are already covered under other aspects of other laws. So this one is really focused on adding public librarians to that kind of a mix. Next is House Bill 4224. That is a bill that amends the Illinois Local Library Act in terms of the bond of the library treasurer. So currently, a treasurer has to be able to put about 50% or an equivalent of 50% of the total money that's received by that library in order to fund their treasurer. They have to be able to do it on that level. This would amend that to being at about 10%, which would really save libraries a lot of money and put libraries in the same kind of category as many other types of local government. And so we are really interested to see where this one goes. It has been moved to committee in the Revenue and Property and Tax Subcommittee. So this is one we'll continue to watch, but we think it could have a lot of value for public libraries in the state. Next is Senate Bill 173. That is one of several privacy bills that are being tracked by ILA, but this one is specifically related to employers that could potentially engage in workplace electronic monitoring, which means if you have tools to be able to monitor staff electronically, you have to inform them that there are tracking mechanisms available. And then finally, we wanted to make sure you know about Senate Bill 2787. That is one that's looking at raising bid thresholds from $25,000 to $35,000. This is specifically focused on libraries. We know that there was some discussion around some other school bills that were similar that were happening in the legislature, but this one has been assigned to committee, and we don't have an answer on whether this has gone through or is going to go through yet or not, but we're looking forward to seeing where this goes. And as I said, there are many, many more to take a look at and track. The legislative season is expected to really kick into high gear following the Easter holiday, and we can expect to hear a lot more heading into May.
Great. Well, thank you for that recap. I don't consider myself to be the most policy literate person, and I'm sure some of our viewers out there as well have trouble tracking these bills, finding out what's happening. I appreciate the recap you gave. I also highly suggest people check out that ILA bill monitoring tool. I found that to be extremely helpful. I think it's a really, really nice thing to offer our member libraries. And it seems like we are doing a better job as a state supporting our member libraries through legislation, working with our legislators, right, and coming up with legislation that is really impactful for our public and other types of libraries.
It's really important, and it can seem complex, but it is really, the tools are there for us to be involved and understand how our libraries are affected.
Yeah. Okay, well that will do it for this episode of Rails Minute. As always, you can submit questions or topic ideas to the Rails Communications team, communications@railslibraries.org. A reminder that all Rails Minutes are available as a podcast as well as a video platform, so please subscribe wherever you listen. Monica, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for watching.